Hope, good morning to you.
Good morning, Tim. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I am doing really good, and I'm excited to be chatting this morning. And good morning, everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Another great topic and beyond. I like that beyond just watching our weight. So it's a lot more to that, but we should have that as a goal for our health, right?
Well, I think maybe there was a little bit of miscommunication. And so really it's about not making the weight your goal
Okay,
and
gotcha.
kind of looking beyond the scale. And this is something I see a lot of drivers, but also just over my career of 20 plus years working with people in health and wellness, we get fixated on that number, Tim, because it's kind of right in our face. But a lot of times people, when they make weight their goal, I want to lose 20 pounds, I want to lose 30 pounds, or heck, I want to lose 100 pounds. We call that a surface goal. And the reason why surface goals don't stick is because they often lack that sustainability, that ability to really take us beyond into the future, because once that weight is gone, if we didn't change anything else, if we didn't actually address the behavior patterns, the habits, the routines that got us into that predicament and into this essentially, weight gained position, that weight is just going to come right back again. And there was a really cool study done, and I had to go back and look at this, the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, and 80 to 95%, because I was like, oh my gosh, this is too high of a number, but it is 80 to 95% of people who lose weight on diets or like temporary habit focus, meaning like something that you aren't doing sustainably, you haven't made a habit out of it, you bring the weight back on within 1 to 5 years, and oftentimes 20 to 30% more weight than what you had lost initially. And that feels like a lot of work, Tim, to have done all of
Yeah,
that and then
definitely.
gain even more back.
Yeah, absolutely. That can really hurt your feelings, can't it?
Absolutely. And so really we want to look at goal setting or concrete goals versus abstract goals. So that abstract goal is, I want to lose weight. And there's really nothing to it. There's no meat. There's no why. There's no connection. You're not rooted in anything that could change like the wind. And so we want to look at focusing on more process-based goals, something that is going to change our habits, change what lies deeper in us. And I always have a little practice I like to use. It's from the business world, and it's called the 5 whys technique. And it's really going to help you get to the root of why you want something. Because if you're not really clear, there's nothing emotionally or there's nothing like more deeply connecting you to that goal. When something changes in your life, or maybe a hardship comes in, you're just going to be like, oh, well, I guess I really don't want this anyways. Or whatever artificial thing you use to lose the weight goes away. You haven't created those habits, that weight is just going to come back because there's no connection for you. So the 5 whys works like this. So if you're like, I want to lose weight, and you have to ask yourself, why do I want to lose weight? And the answer you might say is, well, I want to feel better. And then you have to ask yourself, well, why do I want to feel better? And then you're like, well, because I'm tired all the time. Well, why are you tired all the time? Well, because I don't sleep well, and I eat before I go to bed. Well, why don't you sleep well? Because I'm stressed and I don't move enough during the day. Well, why are you stressed? Why don't you move during the day? Why aren't you physical? Because I lack a routine, because I don't have any habits. My parents never taught me, to prioritize my health. And that 5th why is really going to uncover what you need to focus on, that you need better stress management, you need better sleep, you need better movement habits. So that response to the why can really help clue us in to what we really want, but what really is the problem. And this is kind of a place I see, or a stuck point I see for a lot of people and a lot of programs, really, quite frankly, is we're not asking this type of question. We're just like, cool, you want to lose weight? Okay, here's a pill. Here's a shot. Here's an extreme routine that you should do, but don't ever not do it because then it won't work. Well, no wonder it doesn't work because it's not connected to us. There's no drive. There's no why. There's no deeper rooted connection to what's driving us when life gets hard because you know too, Tim, life gets hard. Like it is not easy street, especially when it comes to your health.
Right. And the fact of not being so focused on the numbers on the scale, see that hit me right there because that's where my problem. I mean, I don't let it bother me, so to speak. But yes, I'm fixated on the numbers on the scale. So we have to retrain. And I like the way you mentioned the whys, because you have to get down to the root of the problem in order to address the problem, right?
Yeah. And also I feel like the 5 whys can often find our motivation triggers. Like, why do I want this? What is driving me to want to lose weight? It's great that you're already thinking about that and that's on your forefront, whether your doctor told you or maybe a spouse or maybe you just got fed up with yourself or whatever the case may be. It's great that you're thinking that, but there has to be something more deeply connected to what's going to drive you forward, because the second something throws you off or that diet doesn't fit into the lifestyle because maybe your route changed or you're not able to access whatever, external substances you're utilizing to make that weight come off, there's going to be nothing driving you to stick that out. It's kind of like why, people are like, oh my gosh, how do you get up so early and go to the gym? Because there's a deeper why. They're very connected to wanting to be healthy, that it's deeply rooted in them, that they're able to overlook that 5 a.m. alarm clock and they see it like, here I am getting up to take care of myself because I want to live long, because my parents died when they were too young because of heart disease. And I don't want that to be my fate. It's not, I've gained weight, my parents were overweight, I need to lose this weight. Like, there's a much deeper rooted connection. And I think for a lot of people, we don't go that deep because it's uncomfortable. Because, we have to think about it. We have to face things that, social media scrolling on TikTok doesn't make me have to face. And, I know this feels like, well, this has nothing to do with weight. Well, this has everything to do with weight, because this goes back again, Tim. Why did you gain the weight in the first place? And it's usually not because of the scale. It's usually because of something much deeper.
Yeah, it makes sense. 615-292-6366. We're going to pull over and take us a quick break, and we'll be right back. Hope Zavara is with us. This is Tim Ridley on Sirius XM 146. Beyond the Scale, Rethinking Weight Loss as a Health Goal. Hope Zavara is with us. This is Tim Ridley on Sirius XM. Hope, I have an email for you. She says, let me pull this back up here. I accidentally clicked off of it. Okay, she says, good morning, Hope. And you're right. If you don't know the why, or if you get into certain situations, as I did, you will gain the weight back. I did well a few years ago, lost over 75 pounds, got down to an acceptable weight, and I was happy with myself, happy with my life, until I met a man who happens to be a fellow truck driver, and we got into a relationship and decided that we would run team together. I moved into his truck, and that's where the stress began. I found myself stress eating all over again and regained more than the 76 pounds that I lost. I know that I need to get away from the situation. I did get out of the truck, but not away from the situation. We are still in a relationship, but he stresses me out to no end. So, yes, and the email goes on, but basically we got the gist of it. Is that stress eating will put the weight on you or back on you, won't it?
Yeah. And first of all, thanks so much for writing in. And is never easy to be in any type of relationship that one is stressing you out or you feel is unhealthy. And there are lots of people that are in that same situation. So thank you so much for writing in. That gives, other people at least a little bit of like, you know what, I'm not the only one, which can be comforting and motivating. But when it comes to that stress, that lifestyle stress that you feel like I have no control over, first and foremost, you have to stop giving that power away and saying, I don't have any control over this situation, because our subconscious mind believes everything that it hears about others and about ourselves. And so this is that start small, Tim, again. What do I have control over? Well, I have control over the thoughts in my head. And people are like, oh, I don't. Well, even if you hear those thoughts and they're negative, you can reroute them. And so if he's stressing you out, what are the habits, you identified them, that you eat in response to that stress? And so knowing that ahead of time, we want to be able to kind of support our day in a way that sets us up for good. This is why I like to exercise in the morning, because it really sets me up for whatever stresses are in my day. If I have maybe, someone with work that is really difficult to work with, and then I kind of am like, oh my gosh, sometimes then I want to, eat things I shouldn't eat because it really is difficult to deal with them and have to respond to them because they don't listen well. But when I work out in the morning, I go for a walk, I go to the gym, I do a little yoga, meditate, whatever it is that day, I feel like I have much more control over my day because there's something in my brain, because I've already checked something off for myself. I've moved my body physical. I got endorphins moving. I'm much more likely to make better choices later on, or even if that work person stresses me out, I'm not going to respond in such a way. And so this goes back to healthier habits and small little routines that we can establish during the day that are health focused, that are going to help us reach that goal, which is a healthy version of you, or, I want to wake up happy, or I want to, live a long life, whatever the goal is, that is going to help me do that. Maybe you're going to go for a walk, every day after dinner for 10 minutes. We all can do that. 10 minutes, we got 10 minutes. Maybe I'm going to drink a glass of water every day when I wake up in the morning. These might feel like, well, Hope, this has nothing to do with the fact that this guy stresses me out. It actually does, because those little micro habits, those little small repeatable habits start to build up in our brain that we are strong, we are capable, we can do this, we're reaching goals, we are making movement forward, which is going to motivate us towards those bigger changes we want to make. Maybe it is stepping out of a relationship. Maybe it is starting a workout routine. Most people just can't go from one extreme to the next. A very small part of the population can do that and stick through it. And so my suggestion would be, what are some small things you can start today that help you feel good, that make you feel good, that prioritize you, that no matter what, you're going to see through, because they don't seem so big, because you already have something really big in your life going on.
And the point is starting today, right?
It is. And reframing the way you're looking at your situation currently, and trying to connect with other people in your life, Tim, that prioritize their health, because we tend to become those people we surround ourselves with, right? And so if you're only around somebody that's really negative and your world feels really small, yeah, you are kind of trying to climb Everest by yourself, and that's really difficult. And so even though many of you listening are driving truck, or you work in a job that maybe is a little bit more isolated, who are you connecting with? Who are you talking with on the phone? What types of sites and social media accounts are you following? If they make you feel like poo, it might be time to say goodbye, because your health matters, your life matters, and your actions, those micro habits we were talking about, aren't reflected in your actions. And more importantly, the actions that you're taking aren't supporting that big goal that you've now discovered, which really isn't the weight loss after all. It's something much deeper.
Hope, I've shared that for years. You are who you become who you hang out with or who you surround yourself
Mm-hmm.
with. And that is so true. You're absolutely right. And it could, it could go much further or deeper than, as you mentioned, just the weight loss.
100%. And so, as far as that piece goes, you might not be able to change your situation right now, but you can add great people to your life to bring you motivation, to bring you encouragement, to help reinforce that deeper goal that, you matter and that prioritizing your health is a priority to you versus the latter. And all of a sudden, you're going to see a shift in your thoughts, in your behaviors, and quite frankly, in your relationships, because sometimes we just can't do it on our own. And that's okay. Realizing that and recognizing that there is no harm in that at all. Because we want that long-term success to be rooted in who you become, not in chasing a fluctuating number. We want that success to be focused on you for the long haul. And when you do that, you're going to start to see your choices change. You're going to start to see what you look towards change. You're going to start to see the people around you change because, quite frankly, you have changed and for the better.
Absolutely. Have another email for you. He says, what I did to keep weight off me, I quit drinking soda about 7 years ago and haven't gone back to soda at all. All I drink is water and 1 ounce, and once in a while I'll have an iced tea with no sugar and juice. And he says that helped me a lot. Soda will put the pounds on you, won't it?
Absolutely. And I would call that a really great lifestyle goal. Like he recognized what he needed to change in his lifestyle, that it wasn't about the weight. It was, man, I'm putting this stuff in my body. It's toxic. It's not helping me. I'm not feeling great. Therefore, I'm packing on the pounds. And I'm going to cut this out. I'm going to improve my lifestyle. I'm going to eat or drink healthier because I want to feel good, and therefore the weight came off. And so I love that you wrote in and mentioned this because a lot of people be like, oh, you cut out soda. Well, I look at that as you decided you wanted a healthier lifestyle. Because drinking soda every day with every meal, I mean, I have some people that they're drinking, a 12-pack of Mountain Dew a day, and it's like, oh my gosh, how are you even standing upright? That just seems awful. But that's a lifestyle shift. That's not, I want to lose weight. So do you see again how that actually wasn't the focus? I believe weight loss is a byproduct to other healthy changes in our lives. And when we make the healthy changes and weight loss is a byproduct, not a focus, man, now you're looking at a sustainable change throughout the rest of your life, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. I have one more I'm going to get in here, squeeze in here, and let's see here. Let me pull this one back up. All right, he says, good morning, Hope. He says, what I do is exercise before I start my day every morning. I'm a regional driver, so I know it's a little bit easier for me to do that than some of the over-the-road long-haul truckers. I start my day meditating as well. I want to get into yoga, and I have been watching some of your videos, but I just haven't made it to that point yet.
Well, first of all, thanks for writing in. And you're like me. I like to work out in the morning. I don't always like it, Tim. But I am committed to the goal of, I know my body feels better. I know I feel better. I know I make better choices. And that's so deeply rooted in me now that when I don't do that, I feel a little off, and I feel like my life might start going a different way, or the scale might start going a different way. So I'm deeply connected to that morning kind of exercise or movement routine, just like you. And I have to giggle a little bit because sometimes that is hard to get up in the morning. But for those of you listening, he was talking about wanting to practice yoga and incorporate yoga into your routine. And I don't want that word to scare any of you, but I also want to encourage you that one pose is yoga. And so if you happen to pop on my YouTube channel, or you happen to find, maybe something on Google or on our website, and just doing one stretch, I'm going to start with a simple forward bend, or I'm going to start with a simple down dog, or, I'm going to do a twist in my bed. Like, that's yoga. That's you adopting new healthy habits and behaviors to better support your body, because you want your spine to be flexible. You want your hamstrings to be limber. You don't want to be so stiff every single day. Like that's the goal, right? And I'm going to adopt a simple behavior. You don't need a big fancy yoga routine to say you practice yoga, to say that you care about your health. And so for those of you listening and writer that you wrote in, let's just start with one pose every single day and commit to that. Add that to your workout in the morning, add that to the routine before you go to bed, and then slowly grow it from there when it feels just like common nature. Like, I'm going to put my pants on before I leave the house because I do that every day. I'm going to do this one stretch before I go to bed or when I wake up in the morning because that's what I do every day. And before you know it, those small habits, those small routines are going to build the healthy lifestyle and the results that you really want.
Absolutely. Well, Hope, thank you so much. And you break that down where it makes it easy and digestible for everyone. Tell us how we can find out more about you.
Absolutely. You can check me out over at mothertruckeryoga.com or any social platform, Mother Trucker Yoga. If you're going to be at the Mid-America Truck Show next week, come see me at our booth in the East Wing. I'll be speaking Saturday morning at 9:45. We'd love to see you. Let me know that you listen to the Tim Ridley Show with us every single month, and we'll help you move towards those healthy habits, goals, and routines together.
Thank you so much. We certainly appreciate you, Hope, and thanks for all you do. This is Tim Ridley. We appreciate you as well on Sirius XM.